Hi, Mick Garvey from Airgun World and Shooting and Country TV. It's coming up to Christmas, so we're just doing a little bit of few tips and advice on how I do things through the year. My main activities this year and for the last few years have been on the squirrels. With the squirrels, good optics, good scope, good gun, good pellets. Pellets is also a little bit of a minefield really, because you've got to discover which pellet works best with your gun. There's no one pellet that you can say this works best for everything. At the moment we're using the RWS Superdomes in both my 2.5 and 2.2 for the air arms. Both superb guns and working well on the squirrels. We've actually got this set up with a thermal because we've just done some thermal hunting on squirrels in an area where there's no reds, which is most important to point out. If you are hunting for squirrels, grey squirrels in areas, always use a binocular, a day scope or a pair of binoculars where you can confirm that what you're shooting is a grey squirrel and not a red. If I was doing this in Cumbria, then I wouldn't be here. I probably would not be doing it without absolutely 110% certain we're shooting a grey. A bit of a game changer for the squirrel hunting, and it's been said a million times, is a thermal spotter. This enables you to spot squirrels coming from miles and miles away, coming into your feed. You get yourselves a chance to get ready, get on the gun, get the gun cocked, get the scope turned on if it needs to be turned on, if it's a day scope or a thermal, a night vision day scope or a thermal, or just get yourself prepared and ready for it and ready for the squirrel to turn up. Another item we use for squirreling is a trail cam. This is invaluable. This can let you know the times that the squirrels are visiting, so you can plan your activities, your day around it, and you can get onto the squirrels when they're turning up. And there's various different ones. These are the ones we're using for the group, but there's one in particular, they call it Spy Point, and it sends remote images to your phone through a data package, and it lets you know exactly where they are. So if you're like 10 minutes away in another field, another area, you can get yourself down there, and you can be on the squirrels within minutes, and you know it's still in the area, which is a good thing. Tripod or sticks, I use that for the squirrel hunting as well, especially if I'm walking up some of the land. But recently I've started to using a shotgun, but that's another story. And that sort of finished it for the squirrels really. Right, the second part of this, we're talking about rabbiting. Rabbiting's, I think it's probably everybody's favourite form of hunting. For me, rabbiting with a thermal is a wonderful way of doing it. There's absolutely no way you can miss anything. It's you can use it with a night vision scope, but you have to adjust your eye to find out exactly what you're shooting at. You've got an infrared lamp, which sometimes can spook them. The thermal, there's no lights being emitted, and it's perfect for the job. And this is my typical setup for a rabbiting. I've got my tripod, I'll put it on my shoulder, I can walk around the fields, I can get it within 30, 40, 50 yards, depending on the rifle, and we can take the shot. Again, we're using a thermal spotter. This is again invaluable. You can get to a field, you can scan the field, and you'll know if there's nothing in there, you can move on to the next field. And that gives you that little bit of advantage where you're not looking around the field all night long for something that's not there. That in conjunction with a thermal scope, for me, is the best way of doing it. It works really, really well, and just as well perhaps with a night vision scope, with the digital night vision, but obviously with a red lamp sometimes it can be spooked, especially if you're following somebody else onto the land who's been lamping or been missing them with the infrared, and it can cause a problem. This has also got a laser rangefinder built into it, which is perfect for those shots, because you're going to find when you're using night vision or thermal, everything seems to be flattened off. You haven't got a really good perception of depth. So if you can get one, either scope with a rangefinder on it, or even a spotter with a rangefinder on it, it'll let you eliminate those possibilities of getting missed, which I've experienced myself recently. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't a good feeling, but that was how it works, and it just shows it does happen to the best of us. So like I say, pellet wise, find the pellet that works with your gun. For me, spend what you can and get something that's appropriate and something you're happy with. If you're not happy with a gun and you've bought one just for the sake of its cheapness or for its looks, then that's probably the wrong way of buying it. Buy something that fits, that works and you're happy with. If you're happy in the field, you're going to have happy shooting. And of course with the rabbiting, when we're punching them out, skinning them out, a good knife is imperative. I've had this one now for, I've lost count, a good few months, and I've done hundreds of rabbits with this, and it's actually, I won't say it's as sharp as it was the day I got it, but it's still skinning them out, cutting through the skin perfectly well. It's probably ready for a bit of a shorten up over Christmas, but same again, it's the, I don't think these are a lot of money, but the most important thing about them is keeping them sharp, and watch your fingers. That's my take on rabbiting. There's a lot more to it, but I think we've covered everything. Like, and just use stealth to get to rabbits. Use the wind if it's in your favour, get it in front of you so it's blowing, so you're walking into the wind. Use the shadows, the fence lines, try and mask your movement. Do yourself a favour, check the stuff out and see what works for you. There's plenty of stuff out there to choose from. It's coming to Christmas, treat yourself. Right, another area we like to cover is the feral pigeon shooting in barns. We've done a couple of those on video. I try and use a sub-12 rifle, so I'm not causing any damage to the buildings. Again, you can use the thermal. There's no problem with shooting something that you shouldn't be shooting. You can tell a feral pigeon. You can tell a pigeon if it's a wood pigeon or a feral. It don't really make a difference. Thermal works great on that. The night vision scope will work great on that as well, which you can really get some really good, clear, crisp images. And the infrared doesn't seem to spook the pigeons once they're in the building at night, which is a good thing. Also use a day scope. I've even used a day scope with a red LED torch, and that doesn't seem to spook them too much either, so that is another good thing. Thermal spotter again for them, another must. You can look through the corners of the buildings, you can pick your heat source up right in the corner, you can turn to your scope, ideally on a tripod, or you can use various things that's in a barn, walls and fences and gates and cattle grids, just to support it. You're always better with a supported shot rather than take a freehand shot. You're going to be almost guaranteed of getting a shot. Like I said, the tripod also works well with that. But feral pigeons, pretty much straightforward. You're usually sat in one place waiting for pigeons to come in. Once they're in and it's really dark, they tend not to leave the building, so you can have quite a good day in it if there's plenty of ferals about. Right, another area we need to cover is ratting. We've not done it yet for the channel, for Sport Shooting Country TV, but I'm aiming to get some done shortly. I used to have some really good ratting permissions over that way, down here in Derbyshire. But it's the same setup again. It depends how far away you're shooting. Sub-12 will take care of rats. Thermal, I mean, like we said before, these can be quite expensive. You can get cheaper thermals. You can use night vision. You can use just a normal torch with a red LED lamp. Another must, and it's as if this works for absolutely everything we try and hunt and shoot. A thermal spotter will pick out things miles away, and then all you've got to find out where it is, locate it with the thermal or the night vision, and take it away. So like I say, 12 foot-pound air rifles will work fine. Sort your pellets out, find out what pellets are working best for your gun. My ratting gun at the moment is a 2.2. This is my 2.5, and I've got that set up with a night vision scope. But to be honest, ratting is pretty straightforward. You can do a lot of roaming around with the ratting, or you can set up in one area where you know the rats are coming to. I have one at the bottom of this hill, and it was just a pheasant feeder, and the rats used to come out to the banking all night long, and I think I took about 30 rats in a couple of hours from there one night. But like I say, we've moved from here now, so I don't get to come to do this that much, but hopefully in the future we will be picking some ratting up, and we'll get on with that, and we'll show what equipment we're using. Obviously you'd not be using any trail cams for that, but the rifle of your choice, I can't emphasise enough that you get something that you feel happy with and fits you and it works well. Scope, you don't have to spend thousands, but try and get the best you can. It's not what you pay for it, it's what you get for your money, and I can't emphasise that enough. You don't have to spend £5,000, you can spend £1,000. You can spend less than £1,000 on a night vision scope. But like I said before, Christmas is coming up, treat yourself, get something you really fancy. Right, well I hope all those little tips on what I do help you. We've all got different ways of doing things, but this is going to be the last one of the year, so we'll probably see you again in January. So I hope we all have a fantastic Christmas and a superb New Year, and I really do look forward to seeing you and seeing the comments on the Shooting and Country TV in the new year. Thanks a lot, have a good one.